Hello, it is Sunday, August 14th, 2022. I'm Chris Remo, and welcome back to the New York Times Crossword Daily Solve. It's a Sunday puzzle today, so a big grid should be a long episode. That tends to be how these go, but shouldn't be too taxing, shouldn't be too difficult. And this extended edition of the Daily Solve has been brought to us by Camtron, Henrik Koskinen, and, as always, the inestimable Hood Monster, the invaluable Timothy Mark, and the indomitable Shulmaster. So thank you so much to the 5 of them, benefactors of the Daily Solve Patreon campaign. And if you'd like to join their ranks as benefactors and get the Daily Solve Let's Check the Crosses mug, you can find that at patreon.com/dailysolve. But of course, if you back the Patreon campaign at any level, you'll get access to all of the bonus videos that have gone up on the channel to date, as well as the new ones that go up each week. And thank you to everybody who has become a contributor and is currently or has supported the series in the past. I do very much appreciate that. And I put up the most recent acrostic puzzle. So that went up yesterday, I think. So if you are interested in watching me solve acrostic puzzles, you can see another one now. As I said yesterday, it was a much smoother solve than my previous one. It actually went fairly well, in part thanks to an interesting thematic element of how the answers were clued, or rather how the answers themselves were made up. So anyway, that's that. And please do subscribe to the channel if you've been enjoying this series. I'd appreciate that. Thank you to everybody who's done so. And you can join the Daily Solve Discord chat server. There's a link in the description field underneath the video to that as well. And now let's get on to today's puzzle. This is entitled In the Money. It's a Sunday puzzle, so it has a title. And it was constructed by Jeff Chen and Jim Horn. Jeff Chen has constructed well over 100 puzzles for the New York Times. Jim Horn, only 4, all of which have been collaborations with Jeff Chen. And Jim Horn, I don't know if I've mentioned this before when I've seen his name here, but he is the founder of the xwordinfo.com site, the incredibly exhaustive New York Times crossword resource. And Jeff Chen is the current proprietor. So Jim Horn founded the site, and then eventually, when he determined he was no longer able to expend the time to support it, Jeff Chen picked up the reins, and they've collaborated on several puzzles as well. So let's get on with the puzzle. And it was edited, of course, as always, by Will Shorts. So let's start solving. Oh, wow. Okay, so here we have several gray cells making little segments of words which are themselves interrupted by circled cells. I don't know what that means yet, but let's just start solving. Hotel chain operated by Hilton. Oh, I'm actually not sure. Disneyland ride. Well, that's very short. Disneyland ride. A tram, maybe? Let's keep looking. Banned insecticide. DDT, I think, is a banned insecticide. Is that right? Certain coding snippet. And a special collection of musical hits with a question mark. I don't know. Let's just keep looking. Big voices with big egos. Divas, maybe. Divas opera. Well, now I suppose applied to all sorts of big voices with big egos, but traditionally would be applied to opera singers. Some users of Cyrillic script. The most obvious language that uses Cyrillic is the Russian language, but there are others. Don't know. This is not going well for me so far. Maybe this will be a challenging puzzle. Antique furniture expert, perhaps. A valuator? Don't know if that's at all correct. I'm not very confident about that. What about this? It's a drag. I don't know. Let's keep looking. Like bills in arrears. Unpaid bills. So you're put in arrears. Old gold coin. A ducat. You hear those sometimes in, I don't know, pirate stories and that sort of thing. Blank spot. You could be, well, I was going to say you could be in a spot. You could also have an ink spot. In a spot looks better with that C here. CK looks unlikely. Sign at a checkout counter. Site at a checkout counter. What about this? Seconds, in brief. VPs, vice presidents, so the seconds to the president. And open-mouthed responses, ahs, maybe? Cash, cite at a checkout counter. Cash only here or something? Temptresses in the Odyssey are sirens. So the sirens famously have their tempting song, and Odysseus wanted to be able to hear it without being dragged into the sea, so he had his men lash him to the mast of the ship so he could listen to their song safely. Big name in power tools. I'm not sure. Although, so cash, sign at a checkout counter. Cash, I'm not sure. Attach as a patch. You could sew on a patch to an article of clothing or a backpack or something. Zip could be nada, none, nil. Oh, DeWalt? Big name in power tools. I think DeWalt maybe is a power tool manufacturer. It sort of looks familiar. Fail. Go down as in a business or something? Or a network? I mean, all sorts of things could go down and fail. Pipsqueaks. Twerps, maybe? Kind of an insulting diminutive name used by children, I guess, primarily. Oh, cited a checkout cash register. For some reason, that's so strange. Even though, so when I initially read this, I said sign at a checkout counter, and then I immediately corrected myself and said, no, not sign. It says cite. And yet, for some reason, my brain retained the sign reading and was specifically thinking about, I was trying to think of textual phrases that might exist. So I don't know what was going on there. But anyway, cash register is a site at a checkout counter. To create an elaborate series of deceptions is to spin a web, metaphorically. And organization with the summer league, it must be the NBA and the basketball league. And then some users of Cyrillic script. Is it Slavs? That would make sense. So part of LV, Las Vegas, the city in the United States, in Nevada, got in the game, perhaps. Something up. Seethe, Norway. Oh, Norway. Oh, Oslo. Oslo is in the... Maybe we sell Oslo in the shaded cells? It's the capital of Norway. So, seethe. And there's a circled cell as well. I wonder what that one's doing. Seethe. That's annoying, but I can't seem to get it. We'll come back to it in a moment. Freak out. And watch parties. There's a question mark, so there's some sort of pun going on here. It could be parties as in people or groups of people connected with watches. It could be you watch parties, you sort of look at parties. What is it? Focus for 15 down. Oh, which are the watch parties? Straps? Watch straps? I'm not sure. Doesn't seem likely. Baba, ma, a ewe. So we're referring to sheep here, and a ewe would be a female sheep. World's end. World. So this might be a suffix that could be applied to the word world. So worldly or world, I'm not sure. Oh, watch parties. Viewers? Is that all it is? People, so it is parties simply meaning people, in this case individuals. So individuals who watch are viewers, I suppose. And then a focus for viewers is a series, I suppose. No, that doesn't fit. Don't know. Got in the game, perhaps. Acted up? Why would that be get in the game? No, anteed up. Right, you got in the game by placing your ante in a poker game, for instance. So to freak out is to panic, and a screen is the focus for viewers. There we go. So world's end, it's not a suffix, it's just the letter D. It's the end of the world, so to speak. The end of the word world. And yeah, I think we saw everything else in there. So what about this? Quite a fight, a brawl. So this looks like slow burn, seethe, Do a slow burn? Slightly strange way to phrase it, but maybe. So we have an A selected from all of that. Freshly could be anew, so the A does look plausible. Kindle competitor. Oh, I don't even know if these exist anymore, but Barnes & Noble marketed an e-reader. There's an E word for you. Used to read e-books called the Nook. And so that's probably the answer here. Blank eaters. Odor eaters. I think that's a brand maybe of shoe insoles or inserts or something, or maybe it's used for other things as well, not just shoes. I'm not sure, but I think that's what that is. And snitch out is to rat on somebody, to inform on them. Monitors at school for short. RAs, resident or residential assistants in dormitory on a university campus. I think is what that refers to. And golfer who won the 1998 Masters, Italy. Well, we have Rome is the capital of Italy. I assume that's what we're doing here in these. So, oh, you know what? Actually, getting Rome was helpful because I think that Mark O'Meara, I'm sure I've seen this in the crossword before. Golfer who won the, I mean, I wouldn't have known who won the 1998 Masters, but I recognize Mark O'Meara as a famous golfer's name. So I think that might be the answer. And then let's check the crosses. Oh, je te plumerai la tête, line from Alouette. Alouette is, well, it's the name of a bird. It's a lark, but it's also a French sort of nursery rhyme song. And I don't remember all the lyrics to Alouette. I think it's one of those things I learned as a child, but I don't remember them. But I think tête for head here. What about this? Certain coding snippet. Oh, right. I saw this and didn't know what it was getting at. Nor that. It's a drag. Not sure. Old map initial. So it could be the USSR, the Union of Soviet Socialist Republics, which obviously would have been on a map for most of the 20th century, but no longer. And then McIntyre of country music. Reba McIntyre is a country music singer. I recognize that. Hotel chain operated by Hilton. I still don't think I recognize this, strangely. I'm surprised, but I just don't see it. I'm pretty sure Reba and USSR are correct. Antique furniture expert, perhaps. Reseller, maybe? Oh, and a Disneyland ride, perhaps it is a tram, after all. 100% could be absolute. Okay, so the hotel chain is true. No, I just don't know that. I wonder if that's a relatively young chain. I'm not sure. Anyway, it's a drag. Oh, a yoke. Maybe this isn't reseller. What about this? Rosy-fingered Greek goddess. Oh, Eos. The rosy-fingered dawn is how she's referred to, I think, in the Odyssey. I mean, in some translations of the Odyssey, anyway. I don't know how literal a translation that is, but I do recognize that phrase, the rosy-fingered dawn. And certain coding snippet. Oh, a do loop, right? So in software coding, there is a concept of a do loop. While you say do this block of code while this condition remains true. I think more often, I think it is generally paired with the while, because without the while, I think it would just go forever. Anyway, I guess you could break out of it yourself. There's some other means. Special collection of musical hits. Oh, drum solo. A special collection because it's a solo, and they're musical hits because they're literally hitting a drum. So the antique furniture expert perhaps is a restorer, someone who restores antique furniture, and it's a drag is a toque, not a yoke. I was thinking yoke as in oxen yoked to a cart and dragging it, or a plow or something like that. But no, this also works. So it's a drag. You take a drag on a toque, a joint, that kind of thing. So now we have a K and an A. I guess we have had for a while, but I haven't really looked at them. I don't think that's enough for me to quite yet see what it's adding up to. Anyway, let's keep looking. Seats, rear ends, your seat colloquially, and then apples and pears botanically are, poems? I'm guessing that because in French, an apple is a pomme, Pomme, but I'm wondering if that's a cognate with another word that is sort of a scientific or a taxonomic descriptor of some kind. I'm not sure. This is my guess. Ultra aggressive would be macho or something. I'm not sure. Maybe I'll delete that for now. Playwright Lin-Manuel Miranda is famously the playwright responsible for Hamilton. Benefit is a boon. Also can mean ask, as I learned from solving the listener crossword yesterday. In an archaic sense, a boon is a request, as well as a benefit, which is how we really use the word these days. Anyway, buenos dias in Spanish. Is it an A or an O? Is it? Actually, don't know. Presumably, that would depend on whether dia for day is masculine or feminine. It looks like it's feminine, but I don't know Spanish well enough to know. I'm guessing it's an A here. I just don't know. So I should really learn Spanish at some point. Anyway, give up all at once. Give up all at once. And then what else can we look at? ASAP. Now, does that work? Oh, right. This is also Ecuador. Give up all at once, Ecuador. That doesn't really look right. What is Ecuador's capital? Why can't I bring that to mind? Queen Latifah's given first name. Dana, I think. Is that right? Dana Owens, maybe, is her first name? ASAP. PDQ, pretty darn quick. Group led by Mahmoud Abbas beginning in 2004. Oh, PLO. Oh, is it Quito, Ecuador, or something like that? Sondheim and Bernstein's collaborator on West Side Story. I don't know. Sondheim wrote the lyrics and Bernstein wrote the music. I'm not sure who the other. Yeah, that's interesting. I'll be curious. Pungent party bowlful. Onion dip, maybe? Mainly got there thanks to the I from Quito, which I think it is. Fighting could be added. Yeah, there we go. Okay. So churn is royal. You could have a churning, roiling, I don't know, water on the boil or something like that. Calculus expert. Oh, a dentist. So calculus not referring to the math concept, but to the buildup of calculus on your teeth. And blank Rheingold. So this is referring to the Wagner opera, Das Rheingold. I saw this performed last year, I guess. Or maybe it was this year. I don't know. The English National Opera. Gate in digital logic. Oh, there's an add gate. So there are types of gates that are used on circuit boards and things, I guess. I'm not very well educated about this kind of thing, but there are various types of simple gates, and an add gate is one of them in digital logic. And this looks like Laura, maybe? Why don't I know this? It's very frustrating. Not that I'm any kind of West Side Story expert or anything. It's not that I don't know. Anyway, let's keep going. Instantly get along well would be to click, maybe? You say you click with a person. And, I forgot to actually look at the rest of this clue again. So give up all at once. So quit cold turkey. There we go. Okay, and we're left with a C there. So we have KAC. Presumably those are going to spell something out. I don't know why else they would be circled. Ultra aggressive. Oh, militant. Right, so this is poems, botanically. And response from a therapist. I see. Right. Yeah, I suppose so. Rush could be a tear. You're in a rush. You're on a tear, kind of thing. Or you rush through something, you tear through it. That's a little closer. Inventing Blank, 2022 Netflix hit. This is Inventing Anna. This is based on absolutely extraordinary Anna Delvey story, the woman who invented an identity for herself as a German heiress and managed to scam quite a few people to an impressive degree and sort of integrate herself into New York fashion society. It's absolutely fascinating. It has a devoted following on Sundays. So people always talk about Sunday night football. Is it Sunday night football? Or I think maybe it's the NFL. God, it's just embarrassing that I don't know some of these things, but I think that might be it. And then cousin of a plum. Oh, a sloe is a fruit. I think most commonly associated as a gin additive. So sloe gin, but the sloe itself is the fruit being referred to there. So expiates with 4. So expiates. You could maybe say atones for if you're sort of expiating your sins, maybe. I don't know that I've seen expiate used in that way, but I bet it is. Let's check the crosses. Catch a few waves. Catch a few waves. So this could be a number of things. The obvious reading is catch a few waves surfing in the ocean, for instance, but it could also be you literally see people waving to you, or it could be waves as in sound waves, maybe you hear. Yeah, there we go. I had to talk through that a bit. Maybe that's what it is. Let's check the crosses. Oh no, wait, something's wrong. Oh, okay. Buenos was wrong. It is Buenos with an O. So I don't know how Spanish works. So sorry about that. Major player in U.S. economic policy, Egypt. So anyway, Egypt is Cairo, which is what tipped me off to Buenos being wrong. And then, anyway, major player in U.S. economic policy. So chair of the NSA, maybe? Or NSC, maybe, chair of the National Security Council, I wonder. I'm not sure, but let's check the crosses. The Chai Channel, familiarly. Is that this must be a program about Chicago? I've never heard of it actually, but that's my guess. Showtime, maybe? I don't know. Let's see. Post-it notes, e.g., stick-ons. Right. Post-it notes I think it's a brand. I think Post-it is a brand name, but it's a brand of adhesive, I'm sure everybody knows this, adhesive notes that stick to things, so you could call them stick-ons. And then, Laurent. Is that what this is? Gate in digital logic. It's not add, it's and. Right, sorry. Like I said, I don't know much about this, and it caused me to completely misremember. So an and gate, I don't know, maybe there is an add gate as well, but an and gate, I'm not sure. I think and or are the famous, well, the maybe some of the more common digital logic gates. And then you have things like exclusive or, and I don't know, maybe there are others. Sorry. So I said something very misleading before when I said add. Anyway, it's an and gate in digital logic. So, but yes, Lawrence, that's what I was trying to think of. I do recognize this name, although I couldn't tell you their given name or what they did. It's a sort of a name I've sort of seen in musical history, but yeah. Anyway, Sondheim and Bernstein's collaborated on West Side Story. It looks familiar, but it's just sort of scratching some familiarity in my brain. I suppose like the logic gates thing did. Where you might get into hot water, a spa, literally. And Lloyd of women's soccer fame. I'm not sure offhand. So what can we do over here? Oh, really? Is it, you might ask? And Tim Hortons is a Canadian chain. It's coffee and that sort of thing. Skirt style. Could be a mini skirt or a midi maybe, or a maxi. I'm not sure. Can all of those be applied to skirts? I mean, some of those are dresses. Anyway, let's keep looking. Boarding groups. So Switzerland. So Bern, Switzerland. And then Boarding group. Timber? Maybe board as in boards of wood? A timbering plant? I'm not sure. It sort of seems like it might be right. Skirt style. Okay, yeah, MI would be a very plausible continuation for that. And then flat top with an M, a mesa maybe. So geologically, or sort of a mesa would be a flat, raised geographical feature. It's a poor way to explain that, I'm sure. Anyway, target of a joke is the butt of a joke, maybe. And God in Latin could be Deus. So MIDI. Okay, so that was one of my thoughts about that. And then statistician Silver. Oh, Nate Silver is a political and sports statistician who I think sort of reached his height of fame, I don't know, maybe during the 2016 presidential election, perhaps. Anyway, maybe the one before that. Getting bored with is tiring of, maybe? Yeah, that looks like it fits. Oh, so we have most of our circled letters now. So we have K-A-C-H-I. Interesting. Caching or something. With a K, what does that mean? Is that right? It seems right, yeah. Yeah, I think that must be correct. Anyway, well, the revealer will reveal eventually. Home of the David Geffen School of Drama. I'm not familiar with the David Geffen School of Drama, but perhaps Yale University, given the crosses. And were for one. So were for one was. So were being used in plural situations and was in singular. Although were can also be used in singular situations in certain contexts. Anyway, laundry product is softener, fabric softener. And die hard. Not sure. Oh, chair of the... Oh, U.S. economic policy. Sorry. Did I say economic policy before? I can't remember. But I think, strangely, I had another one of those odd moments where my brain... I was thinking of foreign policy or security policy or something. But no, it says economic policy. Sorry. Chair of the Federal Reserve. Chair of the Fed. The U.S. Central Bank. So I don't know what I keep doing with my clue comprehension today. Anyway, blank out, you're out. I think it's often represented this way to really communicate the kind of sound of the umpire's call in baseball. You often see it written that way. You're out. And die hard could be a loyal something. And formal farewell. Adieu, maybe? Is that formal? I'm not sure why that's particularly formal. I suppose it has a slight formality to it. You wouldn't say adieu to a friend casually, I guess. Maybe that's what that implies. And if we don't end war will end us. H.G. Wells, right? That sounds, that sounds like a quote. I don't think I know it. I don't know what the source of that is from the H.G. Wells source of that, but I very much suspect that's correct. Like some 401k contribution. So 401k is an employer-assisted sort of personal pension in the United States. So like some 401k contributions. After tax? Right, okay. Right. So some are after tax. I suppose if it were a Roth 401k? Anyway, it's touchy to hit. A diehard maybe is a loyal fan. Does that help here? It's touchy to hit. I'm still not sure. Retired jersey number for the 76ers, Moses Malone. 10 or 2? Must be the only options, I think. It's touchy to hit. Hit a raw nerve. Touchy, you hit a nerve. And so that makes the retired jersey number for Moses Malone 2. And modifier in digital logic. So we had our and gate and our not. So not would be a modifier in digital logic. So it's just another sort of logical operation. And then It's good for 3 points. Oh, a trident that has literally 3 points on it, the actual implement. And then land with an accent over its first letter. Ira, I'm sure. I know I'm saying this wrong. I apologize. It's a name for Ireland. Talk smack about is dish, but that doesn't really mean about. You would dish on somebody or dish about them. You diss. Talk smack about someone, you diss them. There we go. And boarding group. Oh, right, boarding group. Timber industry. There we go. There we go. So it was timber. And did you ring? You could say yes. Did you ring? Did you call? Except for something, save something. So we could say we've solved all of the theme answers, save two. And Mark says a ballot, you X your ballot, you put an X in it. Stephen, a V for Vendetta. I saw that. I don't really particularly remember it, but Stephen Ray, I guess, must have been in it. Was that the sort of title character? I'm not actually sure. Anyway, region of Croatia associated with a canine breed. Oh, Dalmatia, right. So, yeah, Dalmatians named after Dalmatia, as the name would suggest, I suppose. And Scouts BSA members since 2019. Girl Scouts? Members of I guess the Boy Scouts of America must have sort of expanded its remit or something to that effect. And then Benitez of TV News. I don't think I know this person. Gia, maybe? I'm not sure. Just looking of names that would fit there. Used room service, e.g. Oh, you ate in. You took advantage of room service by eating in rather than going out. And oh, right, I just looked at that one. Bomb produced in the 1950s. Okay, so not the one you might be thinking, which I guess was produced in the 1940s, but the Edsel, which is a famous flop of a Ford automobile. It came up in the crossword, actually, I think just a few days ago. And it was just famously poor selling vehicle, named after, I think, the son of Henry Ford. One who walks to work, Qatar. Well, Doha is the capital of Qatar. So a dog handler, someone who walks dogs, I guess. Is that what that is? Oh, they walk in order to work, right? They don't walk to their workplace. They walk in order to work. And Ham of women's soccer fame, Mia Hamm, I recognize. Ritalin target for short. ADHD, attention deficit hyperdisorder, I think. And fuse by heating below the melting point is something. Quite eccentric. Out there, maybe? Yeah, okay. Offended is if you offended someone, you hurt them. And a burger topping that jacks up the cholesterol is fried egg, maybe? Right, eggs. People always talk about the cholesterol in eggs. So what is this? Fused by heating below the melting point. Maybe I don't know this word. Asphalt component. Tar, so sinter? Is that right? Seems like it must be. I don't think I know that. I think that might be a new word for me. Food that's a national emblem of Wales. The leek. The leek is used in various symbolic contexts around country of Wales, which is one of the constituent nations of the United Kingdom, of course. Thus would be ergo, and that's simple as that, I guess. And standard operating procedures for short are regs, regulations. So here we have Daily Kos news blog, right? I think that was another. I don't know, are they still around? Probably, but I think they were much more kind of widely cited maybe several years ago. Okay, what can we do? Oh, maybe Karen Lloyd of women's soccer fame. I'm not sure. Big initials in TVs. Maybe RCA is a television manufacturer. RCA, and suggests. I'm not sure. Kind of cat or rabbit. An Angora, I think, is a kind of cat or rabbit. separately, I mean. It's Angora cat or Angora rabbit, I think. De blank, freshly. De novo, sort of newly. Torus-shaped gasket. An O-ring. I mean, if you imagine a gasket that is just a ring, I guess you could call it an O, because it is, I mean, this O-ring sounds slightly redundant to me, but I think that's what that's called. And then London's Blank Row Savile Row, here in London, is famously the kind of seat of high-end men's tailoring. You can get a bespoke suit made for you on Savile Row, and it's very expensive and high quality. Like M dashes vis-a-vis N dashes, they're longer. So these are literal dashes that you put in text and typesetting, and they're named for, you have N spaces and M spaces as well, and that refers to the literal length of the space or the dash, the length of an N or the length of an M, which is where that comes from. Marvin, who sang Sexual Healing, Marvin Gaye, the great singer, and kidney-related would be renal. You hear about things like renal failure or kidney failure. Plasma particle, an ion? Sad ass. That's a surprising clue. Anyway, Eeyore from Winnie the Pooh, the character from Winnie the Pooh, the sort of morose character from Winnie the Pooh. And, oh, I see, because he's literally a donkey, right? I see. Okay, I thought that was very strange until I thought about it a bit more. Okay, and then plasma particle, and I guess it is an ion, and then Ambrose Burnside was its first president, for short. What is that? I'm not sure. What this puzzle's circled letters are with respect to the surrounding shaded squares. Oh, what are they? I'm not sure. I feel silly for not seeing it. Anyway, what is this? Oh, Rwanda, Kigali, Rwanda. So Kigali can go in there, and then activity for Santa is making a list. There we go. Suggests, connotes, in other words, something has a meaning that is imparted by itself, connotes it, suggests that meaning. Okay, so this isn't Karen. I'm not sure what this name is. And then causes for pauses. Thoughts or breaks or, not sure. Site acquired by Match.com in 2011. This will be a dating site, presumably. But I'm not sure what it is. Let's keep looking. Hybrid farm animal. I don't know offhand. Liquor from Mexico, mezcal. And, okay, you got it for short. Okay, you get it. Okay, you get it. Sorry, not got it. Okay, you get it. Don't know. Nickname that's 3 consecutive letters of the alphabet. Oh, maybe this is mezcal with an S. Right, sorry, it is with an S, mezcal. And then stew, S-T-U, because that's simply a run of 3 consecutive letters, S-T-U. And it's stew for Stewart, I suppose. Oh, right, okay, here's this again. Capital gains. What this puzzle's circled letters are with respect to the surrounding shaded squares are capital gains. What does that mean? Oh, NRA. Ambrose Burnside was the first president of the National Rifle Association, I guess. Okay. And then clinch is ice. Is that right? Can you ice something, clinch it? Not sure if that's right. Noted underground adventurer. And rich sources, loams, rich soil. Clinch. Is that right? None of this is looking useful to me. Hybrid farm animal. Causes for pauses. Don't know what's going on. I'm still confused about this capital gains. What this puzzle's circled letters are with respect, so capital gains. caching. What am I missing here? And then clinch. I don't know, maybe this isn't loams. I was thinking of rich source, like soil that's a rich source of... Oh, is it ka-ching? Like the sound a cash register makes? Cash register, actually, in the grid here. So capital gains, ka-ching. So maybe by capital gains, maybe it's just means you sort of, you're earning money. And it's metaphorically making the ka-ching. Not sure. Okay, what else can we do here? How can we solve this puzzle? Oh, OK Cupid. Seen that one before. Okay. So rich sources of load, so like the mother lode, for instance. So source of ore, rich source of ore in a mine. So clinch, maybe this is ice. Oh, noted underground adventure, Alice. Right. So from Alice in Wonderland, or Through the Looking Glass. And then hybrid farm animal is a something to low, maybe? Okay, you get it for short, etc. I see, because you're lifting something out and you say, and it's this, and it's that, and it's that, etc. Okay, you get it, etc. Okay. So causes for pauses. Causes for pauses. You pause because of... No, I sort of want this to be cattle because they're maybe cattle and buffalo? Carly? Colons. Causes for pauses. I suppose if you're reading a sentence and there's a colon, you would sort of pause because what's after the colon is going to be some sort of explanatory or example bit from what preceded it, so you'd pause. Maybe that's... Okay, there we go. All right, a bit of a stumbling ending there. So what is this capital gains? I can't figure out if it's simple and I'm overcomplicating it, or if there's just something I'm fundamentally not getting about it. I don't know. I think it is ka-ching. And I think it is intended to be the sound of a cash register, which of course we do have in the grid. Oh, and actually, look at that. It's symmetrical to capital gains. I mean, that must be an intentional nod. And it's symmetrically disposed, I mean, in the grid. And I suppose that's what it is. Ka-ching, capital gains. You've made money. And that's being represented by the sound of a cash register. And it's inside these capitals. I think that must be what it is. And then also the letters themselves are sort of... The capital is gaining this letter inside of itself, if you see what I mean, in a visual sense. All right, very clever clue. This is one of those ones that must have been very difficult to figure out. I guess they must have I guess there are a finite number of world capitals, so they must have assembled them all and then tried to figure out which they could sort of split up in this way. Or rather, not which could they split up, which could they make part of longer phrases. That must have been an incredibly time-consuming task. Anyway, I guess there were two of them, so they could split that burden between Jeff Chen and Jim Horn. Fun puzzle, not too difficult. Had a bit of trouble breaking in at the beginning, and then a bit of trouble closing it out at the end. Otherwise, I think it solved pretty smoothly. So that was good. Let me know how you fared. But yes, this wasn't an outrageously long solve, at least. I am going to move on because there are a few clues from yesterday's puzzle. It's actually one clue from yesterday's puzzle in particular that attracted a lot of attention. But first, Laura Sexton points out that Jim, C-R-O-C-E, the musician, is pronounced Croce. I thought that was the case, but I, for some reason, pronounced it completely incorrectly. I don't know why. I really have this sort of pronunciation second guess thing that happens on video that causes me to make all sorts of overthought determinations in the moment. Anyway, A.J. Cham explains Einlehrer in German, E-I-N-L-E-H-R-E-R, which I recognized as being German in some way yesterday, and ein meaning a, but I didn't know what Lehrer was. AJ Cham explains that means a teacher, so Lehrer, teacher. Thank you very much for that. And finally, Brian Parente, Jackson Mack, Girl Cow, The Effin' Crow, Schulmaster, Edwin Schornburn, and Aaron Quinlan, and possibly other people, but at least all of these people have pointed out a grievous error I committed on yesterday's puzzle, which was referring to saxophones as brass instruments rather than woodwind instruments. I'm very sorry about that. As all of these people pointed out, or several of them, people pointed out all different combinations of things, but the upshot is woodwinds refers to whether the instrument in question uses a sort of wooden reed to produce its sound, which a saxophone does. I should have known that and remembered that and referred to a saxophone properly as a woodwind instrument. It's funny that I mentioned the other day in response to a reader to a comment from Spikel Thing, I believe, my friend Kirk Hamilton, who is the host of the Strong Songs podcast, which I do recommend. It's a great podcast. I was actually just listening to it this morning. Anyway, I've been a friend of his for a very long time, and he is a very accomplished saxophone player. So he would be quite upset with me if he heard that very blatant error on yesterday's video. Anyway, sorry about that. Thank you to the many, many people who wrote in about it. That was by far the most corrected error I've committed on this series. It was, and rightly so. So anyway, there we have it. Saxophone is indeed a woodwind instrument, and that's that for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. I'll be back tomorrow for the Monday puzzle, a quicker, smaller grid, and should be a very approachable solve. So join me for that. But until then, please do have an excellent remainder of your Sunday. Take care.